Hey guys, so I'm back with my first Halloween tutorial of 2016. So this year I'm putting a lot more effort than I did into Halloween last year, and I'm doing this in advance, and I have a lot of great costume materials. So I hope you guys like my Halloween tutorials for this year. I will link to my playlist where I have all of my Halloween tutorials I've been doing for the last 9 years. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. This is half of my face done. It's a pretty simple look, so I didn't think you needed to see the whole thing, but this is the Scary Nun from American Horror Story, the television show. And every time I saw the previews for the new season, I would see this Scary Nun and I would be like, oh, that is such a dope Halloween costume. And I think it's been done a few times before, but I'm going to give you my take on it. And I did half the face, and on this half I actually have this black Sclera lens, which is like a completely blacks out your eye. I only have it on one side because I started doing this look, and you need to do the eye first before you put it in. Plus I needed to see, so at the end I'll have both in, but these guys are a little tricky to put in, especially if you have small eyes like me. It was like, ah! But anyways, I'm going to just use a few materials, not a lot at all. I'm going to use a black and white water-based paint. This is the Pro Paint by Graftobian, white and black. I love this stuff. If you struggle getting a really opaque like color, such as whitening out your whole face, then this is for you because it really goes on really thick and opaque. And besides that, I'm just going to use a little bit of glue stick to block out my brows and water. So very, very simple. What I always say though when you do your skin for Halloween is just to make sure you moisturize your skin really well. You don't want your skin to kind of be damaged by all the heavy makeup. And I also apply a primer, like a thick silicone based primer, so that way you can just kind of give yourself protection. So I'm just applying some primer really quick. Okay, so once you got your primer on, you're going to go ahead and start applying the white face makeup. I did a couple of different tricks to find what would work best for me, and what I found is that you could either paint your face with the Pro Paint by itself, or if you want to make your job kind of easier, is to kind of put a base down first. This is Mayron Clown White. I don't think that this to me worked as well by itself, so I'm going to apply it just as a primer, like a color primer. Applying the Clown White by itself didn't give me the super thick coverage I wanted. It was still kind of streaky, and maybe because the product I have is a little old, but I'm going to just plop this on, and then I'm just going to blend it in. Before I forget, I'm going to take a little bit of regular old office supply glue stick and just cover my brows with it, so that way it really slicks the hairs down to get an even surface. And then I'm going to put the paint on top of that. It helps also to have a headband on like me, so that way you don't get the makeup in your hair. Okay, so I have that down as my base. That actually looks pretty good. It came out better this time than it did the first time I did it. But just to show you how you can get an even better opaque finish, I'm going to take my Graftobian Pro Paint and a damp brush. I just have a cup of water sitting on the side. And you want to get a balance of the right consistency of wetting the brush and dipping it into the paint, because you don't want it too runny or too dry. So as you can see, it's starting to make this paint right here. And then I'm just going to paint on top. Okay, see how that's so blacked out? And then you want to go down just a little bit, because in case some of your neck shows, but you will have a turtleneck as well as something covering up your hair and your ears. Okay. See how easy that was with that pro paint? It just goes on really, really opaque. Alright, so then we're going to make sure everything's blended in. No streaks. I'm going to be a little bit extra with my brows and just kind of take my finger and go over my brows just because I don't want that to show because I have my dark brow hair underneath. Okay, so then we're going to take a smaller concealer brush and I'm going to dip it in a separate a separate cup of water, and then I'm going to use my black pro paint. You could use gel liner for this, or any kind of black liner, black paint. But I just love these Graftobian pro paints because they're so just opaque and dark. Alright, so make sure you get just the right consistency, and then you're going to kind of just draw a circle around your whole eye and get your waterline as well. Good thing about this makeup too is that it washes right off with water, but it still does a really good job of lasting for a really long time. Use the edge of your brush to kind of get that straight line. Underneath doesn't have to be so neat just because you're going to have the tear streaks, so just make sure that you get up into the waterline though. Okay? So now for the tear streaks. So this part takes a little bit of a balance between a liquidy formula of the paint and not too liquid. You want it liquid enough so that it actually drops. So I'm going to take a smaller pencil brush, and I'm just going to kind of keep adding water so I get a very drippy paint, like so. And then I'm literally going to start dropping it. It does take a little bit of trial and error with the paint. See how it's starting to kind of drop on its own? So just keep it, kind of add more water back to where the original drop line is, okay? And it's okay if it's sheer, you just kind of want to get the path, and then you can really repaint those in with more of the paint. You're going to notice that some of the teardrops kind of connect, which is perfectly fine. You just want it to be really natural. And you could totally freehand this, but I feel like it's not quite as natural as the natural teardrops kind of coming down. And I'm going to start also putting a lot of paint kind of by the underneath the eye, and you see how it's a little bit thicker underneath the eye and then it kind of streaks down. That's what I want because that's what the pictures had too, so it was a lot more wetness. And then you'll notice that the water kind of follows the same path after a while. So you see how it kind of streaked on its own and it looks really real, but you don't want it to be all faded like that. So now I'm going to take the brush and just go over those areas with more of a thicker consistency of the paint. It's okay if you kind of get those rough edges because you want to kind of look realistic. That looks really scary. Alright, so then I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of finishing touches. In the picture, there is a little tiny bit of a blush on the inner lip, so I'm just going to take a mix of this hot pink and red and a small blender brush. This is a Citron Lace pointed crease brush, and I'm just going to stick it right in the center. Just apply right to the center for a little bit of something like, I don't know, something color. Alright, so I'm going to go put on the costume really quick, as well as the other contact lens, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, so I have the final look on. The costume is cheap from Spirit. I actually got it on Amazon, so I'll link that below, but it's really convenient because it comes with the nun habit and the white outfit. You're probably just missing, you just need to get white shoes, and then also don't forget to do your hands. But I'm not going to do it for this look. So I popped the other contact in. It's kind of crazy having both eyes filled, but you get used to it after a while. So this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to check out makeupbybrandman.com for a full list of products, pictures, and all that good stuff. And I'll also link everything that I used in the description box below. And stay tuned for more Halloween tutorials, and don't forget to check out my Halloween tutorial playlist. Until next time, have a great night. Ciao, Bellas!